Last year, at the end of August, the month we're currently in, we had the return of ReZero, which brought with it Reinhard and Echidna, two of the most powerful characters in the game at the time, arguably the most powerful characters in the game, honestly. Reinhard was absurd, and Echidna is still a meta character. Reinhard has fallen off due to power creep and damage, but Echidna being a overall good damage but also a phenomenal support has made her still a relevant character. So it is very plausible to assume that this year they might do the same and bring out another collab at the end of the month. And recently, we had, with the drop of the Demon King, an asset that made people poke their eye a little bit. A new asset added to the files for the Titan. Cut-in special Titan short Titan 003001. I couldn't have put it better myself. And this, I think some people made videos saying, oh, AOT collab is coming back. And very exciting stuff. But here's the thing. This is not a new asset. And for context, this picture right here, so new JP asset. This is from the 7 Deadly Sins leak server. And this is not like someone made this post. It's an automated bot that posts every new asset that is added to the game files into a chat so that people can, use the assets however they please. I personally, that's how my thumbnails I get cut-ins for. I just go on their Discord, and whenever there's a new character like the Demon King, the cut-in for the Demon King gets added to the files, gets put on through the bot, and I download it and use it on the thumbnail, for example, right? So this has been added to the game. This is a technically new file to the game, so the bot picked it up as a new file. But this specific cut-in is not new. This was already in the files, so this does not really mean much. They've already done this before, where they re-added a Attack on Titan, specifically Attack on Titan, I don't know why, asset into the game. We thought maybe there's gonna be a new Attack on Titan collab coming, and then guess what? Nothing happens. Like I just said, they've done this before, years in the past, multiple times actually. For some reason, Attack on Titan gets re-added to the files. The very same assets that were already in there get re-added. So this particular instance probably doesn't mean much. All right, I took a break, so maybe I'm forgetting a little bit of what I said before, but yeah, don't let me discourage you from the idea that this could be a thing. But for what from last time we had a collab, and we kind of knew a collab was coming, people weren't all that open about the idea of Attack on Titan being the collab. There was a lot of pushback. And if there was a collab to happen again at the end of this month, which again, it's not like it's a confirmed thing, it's just, it happened last year, could happen again. If there was a collab to happen again at the same time this year, I wonder how the community would react to Attack on Titan. I think most people that say they wouldn't care for it actually are lying. And they would be super hyped if a Season 4 Eren was to come out. In any case, I think if there was to be a collab, I would like for ReZero to come back. I know it doesn't feel like that long ago, because it was a year, right? But a year is quite a while. A lot of players missed out on Echidna, and a lot of players could use more Echidna dupes. So I think a ReZero rerun would be pretty nice. If they were to also buff the old characters, I know they already got their relics, and some relics were better than others. But if they were to actually buff the characters like they did with Slime, I think it would be pretty cool. Because these characters are old enough that... Are they as old as the Slime characters were when Slime returned? I would have to check that out. But they are super old. So they already have their relics. The only step now is to get an actual buff, that be its stats. I think, immediately as after a character people would not like to see buffed. But regardless, so the return of Reinhardt and Akino would be cool. Reinhardt is not really all that good anymore. There's nothing, I don't think, in the game that Reinhardt is actually good for. So we'd have to see that. But ReZero still has characters, so I'll be honest, I'm not like caught up with ReZero, but I'm certain there's still characters left. If they were to like even actually release the main character with some stuff from the later part of like season 2, I think he could be a character. He could definitely be, you know, season 1, the MC, forgot his name, sorry. The MC definitely would be a weird character to be in the game, but we've had, I don't know, we had her. You know what I mean? Like, the MC of ReZero could definitely be a character in the game, especially if you're talking about like later on in the story. If not for ReZero, obviously Attack on Titan would, I think, be the best rerun they could do. Buffing the old characters, giving them relics. I think, you know, transforming Eren is definitely something that they're never going to fix. The transformation mechanic sucks, but they could do something with his passive to make it like easier or something. They could change his cards. They could make this card have a second effect. Stuff like that. Like, these characters would be hyped to get a buff and to return with like a season 4 Eren and a season 4 Armin. I say Armin because we don't have Armin. Like we only have true Erens, the SR and the SSR, Levi and Mikasa. We're missing, you know, Armin from the trio. So I would have liked an Armin, but I don't know. I do wonder how people would react to that. Other than that, there's not any other collab I think should return. You know, Slime is cool, and I think people would be cool for that as well. But I don't know. I don't have a reason why. I just feel like because the old characters have already been buffed once, they wouldn't buff them again. Even if they, you know, were to need a buff, they just wouldn't do it, right? So I don't think so. I think either ReZero, be a nice bring back. KOF, honestly, would be pretty cool. It's definitely the least hype because no one really cares about KOF. Sorry, there are some KOF fans, I'm sorry, but majority of the player base, every time we've had a KOF collab, it wasn't like hype. It was cool, the characters were interesting, but it wasn't like hype. And to be honest, the KOF collab was one of the best collabs we've ever had in terms of content. So, I don't know. Kyo, a buffed Kyo would be definitely a character I would like to see, because he's not really all that dominant anymore with terrible stats. If he was to get a buff, have his cards do something else as well, like an extra effect, be pretty cool. Same for Rugal. Rugal is such an outdated character. If he was to actually be usable again, that'd be pretty cool. Athena, it's weird to say this, but she doesn't need a buff. She's like the most relevant KOF character. It's funny because at launch she was like the worst. Not the worst, I think Maya was always the worst, but she was like the one that people are like more whatever about. But you know, because of her passive, she actually became the most usable character in the long run. If you also get like a stat buff in general, maybe some upgrade for the cards, it would be pretty cool. I don't know what they could do with Mai. Mai just sucks. Just make her hit harder, I guess. And then obviously the newer characters. Terry has so much potential. I don't know if they would buff him, because if they buffed Terry, I think he would break the game. He is in a weird state where I think if he did more with his whole kit going, he would be too strong. And it was a case where after Demons came out, he became really bad because he would lose his buff, you know, when attacking. But right now with the Demon King, you know, that is not an issue anymore. So I don't know, if they were to buff Terry, he might be too strong, but I would love to see it. And obviously Yori sucks. Yeah, Yori sucks. So let me know, do you want a new collab? Do you just or just whatever for collabs? I know a lot of people are whatever for collabs because most of the collab IPs we've had, apart from Attack on Titan and ReZero, I think are either very divisive or people just don't really care about too much. Like obviously Stranger Things is an L. Mushoku Tensei was like a 50-50. We're like a 20-80. 20% of people were very hyped for it, 80% people were like whatever or didn't really like it. And then Same for Shield Hero. Shield Hero, it was more of a 50-50. I think 50% of people were, you know, okay with it, slash didn't really care, and then the other 50 were like, I don't really like Shield Hero. So most of the IPs we really get for collabs aren't the greatest thing ever. If we were to get a new IP like Full Metal Alchemist, I only think of Full Metal Alchemist because it's had a collab with Epic 7 before, so I would like Full Metal Alchemist. I think it would be a really cool collab. Ed, trying to think, what's the name of that really muscular guy? I think I would like him. And the Fire Snap guy, those are the characters I would like. Listen, I watched Full Metal years ago. It was like actually 6 years ago, so I don't remember the names. Anyways, let me know what you think. Do you want to collab, or are you strapped for gems and they're like, no way?